Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'm discussing my thoughts on episode 3 of the One Punch Man specials, mostly surrounding Speed of Sound Sonic's large inadequacy problems with his fighting against and wanting to fight against and beat Saitama. He is having full-on nightmares about that one punch, that one love tap to his chops, to his cojones, and he can't escape it. And it's very much, there are almost shades of Moby Dick. You know, I'm like, is Sonic, call me Ishmael, because he's got this Frank the Hunter guy out in the woods that he's hanging out with. I thought this guy was going to be kind of, the sensei, the master to him, and try to guide him and help him overcome this struggle internally that he's dealing with. But it was actually not the case. It was kind of the opposite. Even though you have this guy who's very much the Captain Ahab-esque character, where he has been mauled by a bear, he just barely survived, and he's carrying a musket around now, a shotgun, whatever it is, because he feels inadequate in and of himself. Like, if I ever run into this creature again, I got to be ready for it. And only then does he, encapsulate in his mind, will he be able to overcome all of the fears and the anxieties that he's now plagued with in his every waking moment. And there are shades of that, basically Sonic is feeling in dealing with Saitama, even to the point of, now that he is out in the woods, he's carved in the trees these perfect sort of, you can wear it as a mask, these wood carved like facial busts of Saitama in the trees. And at one point he stumbles across this absolutely adorable little wild boar, who the hunter guy calls like a piglet, and he names him Eno. Sonic names him Eno, and eventually he'll leave this little creature behind with Frank the Hunter, because he starts to realize, there is a level inherent to his own, the way he's going about trying to overcome the obstacle, the internal anxiety he feels about one day facing Saitama again, in that he's got to look beyond what he feels are his tried and true capabilities. He's got to look outside the box and not just be, sort of beholden to the one true skill he has. He's got to actually try to come at this fight from a different perspective, and very much is the story kind of him, resigning himself to that fact. Like, if I just go into this scenario the same way every single time, I am destined to always and forever lose against Saitama. And it takes him saving this little wild boar from this gigantic, humongous snake, which he slices and dices, only after finally realizing that he can't attack this snake, which can perceive when he's, coming, which direction he's coming from, much in the same way that Saitama had in the past, their past encounters and everything. And, when he finally gets over that hurdle, is he able to stop and quell this snake, which makes a fine and fitting meal for him and Frank the Hunter and everything. So once he's attained that, and he departs, leaving Frank the Hunter these words of wisdom, how he overcame that hurdle for himself, does Sonic go on his merry way with the intention to eventually, reconnect with Saitama and try to take Saitama down. And at this point, Frank the Hunter and little Eno, this little baby wild boar, are just chilling in the woods, and all of a sudden here comes this gigantic frickin', steam-breathing bear barreling down on them, and he, cocks the rifle. It's not working. He's about to be destroyed once again, and even the little wild boar, is like freaking out and everything like that. And just, I guess, out for a nightly stroll comes Saitama, just out of the blue. And at first he's looking like longingly at the bear, and then he looks longingly at the little wild boar, and he's like, oh, tasty meal, that kind of thing. And but of course, because little Eno takes off running, he's like, oh, well, I guess I gotta settle for the bear. We don't see anything that happens until after the fact, after he's gone back, and he and Genos are consuming generous quantities of bear meat in the stew form. Do we call back on little Eno returning to Frank the Hunter's side, who's been passed out, and when he wakes up and he comes to, here is the sun rising over the mountains, and half the woods are gone. Because of the punch, presumably, Saitama, unleashed on this bear. So, I mean, Oh, love One Punch Man. I love these, they are very short, but they are, still very much as entertaining as the episodes proper from the main series One Punch Man, these special episodes. And seeing Sonic, I only regret that there wasn't a little more to do with Sonic, like seeing more in his mind's eye what exactly makes him who he is. Because, going back to the series proper, when we were first introduced to him, I was very much in the mind that, oh, he's probably like a rival hero or something like that. Now he's gone full-on villain mode because of the influence, One Punch Saitama has had on him. So it's hilarious every step of the way. This show is just absolutely pitch perfect with the action and the comedy and the mixture of the two and all that kind of good stuff. And so yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've seen episode 3 of the One Punch Man specials dedicated to Speed Up Sound Sonic, Call Me Ishmael Sonic, with good old Ahab Frank the Hunter in the woods and all that good stuff. And Little Eno being just absolutely an adorable little sort of piglet, as Frank called him, but, baby wild boar and all that good stuff. If you loved it, if you hated it, anything goes in the comments below. Just love having that conversation. And so, yeah, otherwise it'll be pretty much it for me on this. Hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.